I was 18 when I joined the Army. The night before, I was blackout drunk and spent it in a police station. Honestly, I was screwing up my life big time. I had no direction, no plan, nothing. The next morning, still hungover and red-eyed, I signed a few papers at the station and walked out free, and instead of going home, I went straight to the recruitment office. Just like that. I didn't do it for the country or anything noble like that. I did it to flip the table on myself. It was like I needed to destroy the version of me that was falling apart and become someone, anyone else. Next thing I know, I'm standing at attention with a drill sergeant screaming inches from my face. Boot camp lasted 3 months. A bunch of guys dropped out. Not me. I was strong, athletic, and for the first time in years, I had structure, discipline. Weirdly enough, I liked it. I actually liked being a soldier. By the time we finished training, I felt ready for war. But instead of shipping out, they sent me to a military hospital. Total buzzkill. I spent my days sweeping sidewalks, answering phones, watching TV, literally just killing time. My first night shift, there were only 4 of us. The officer who was supposed to relieve me, some old vet who was dead asleep, the on-call doctor who was also military, a civilian nurse, and me. The hospital was small. At 8 p.m., they locked the doors. Only emergency services stayed open. Around 10, an ambulance rolled in with an old man in a wheelchair. I helped get him down. We pushed him across the parking lot, and right as we reached the entrance, the light hit his face. And I froze. I knew him. He used to live near my family, old friend of my parents. I hadn't seen him in years. As a kid, the guy scared the hell out of me. Tall, skinny, loud. One of those old school men that made kids nervous just by being in the room. Now he looked terrible. Like death was already sitting in his lap. His wife was with him. She didn't recognize me, and I didn't want her to. So I kept my head down, wheeled him into the infirmary, and went back to the lounge to keep watching TV. An hour later, the doctor called me over. Her tone was flat. He's dead. We need to take him to the morgue. Morgue? That word hit me like a brick. Can't the nurse do it? I asked, trying to sound casual. He's cleaning the infirmary. You do it. I didn't have much of a choice. I went to grab the stretcher. The old man was covered with a white sheet. I stood there for a second, then swallowed hard. All I had to do was take the body to that room and come back. Quick in, quick out. No big deal, right? I opened the morgue door and instantly regretted it. The place was a damn broom closet with a metal table shoved in. The stretcher didn't even fit through the door. I knew what I had to do, but I really didn't want to. So I grabbed the old man, like a sack of potatoes, honestly, and laid him on the table. That image stuck with me. I went back to my post. The officer was still snoring. I didn't dare wake him. I sat down, turned the TV up a bit, and eventually dozed off. Then the phone rang, loud, sharp, out of nowhere. I jumped up, heart racing, picked up the phone like I hadn't just been asleep. Someone's knocking on the windows of the inpatient ward. Go check it out, a deep voice said, didn't recognize it. Who is this? Click. Line went dead. Now look, I've never been the superstitious type. I don't believe in ghosts. I always said, I'm only afraid of the living. But that night, I felt something crawl up my back. Cold. Real. No one was supposed to be in that ward. Everyone was asleep. The nurse was outside, smoking. There was no one else in the damn hospital. Maybe it was one of the guards messing with me. They knew it was my first night. Back in training, the older guys used to tell stories. Soldiers tortured in those buildings, screams at night, empty beds shaking like someone invisible was getting beaten. I never bought into it. Until that night, I walked over to the nurse. Someone called, said there's knocking at the ward windows. He didn't even blink. Probably the shutters. They bang when the wind hits them. You should go close them. Then he walked off, didn't offer to help, just left me with it. So now it's up to me. I had to walk around the hospital, about 200 meters through the back courtyard. There's this path lined with eucalyptus trees. In the daylight, no big deal. But at night, it was like walking through a tunnel in a horror movie. The wind rustled the trees. Everything else was dead quiet. And the whole way, I had this sick feeling, like I wasn't alone. I thought about the old man. What if he was pissed about how I moved him? What if he was following me, like when I was a kid? I chuckled to myself, trying to shake it off. I got to the windows, checked them all, closed, no wind, no noise. And this part really hit me. No one. I headed back with my stomach in knots. I was pacing, hoping the officer would wake up and put an end to this nightmare. Then the phone rang again. This time, I didn't even move. I just stared at it, my skin crawling. It rang again and again and again. I couldn't pick it up. Felt like if I did, something would reach through the damn line. Then it stopped. And that's when the knocking started. Not loud, not fast, just steady. Like someone was gently tapping on the windows with their fingers. The sound echoed through the empty hallways. Got louder, closer. That's when I snapped. I turned the TV volume all the way up. I walked back and forth, rubbed my face, checked the clock. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. I just wanted out. Then I stopped cold. Screw this, I muttered. I wasn't about to be haunted by some dead old man. I marched straight to the morgue, heart pounding, hands clenched. I swung the door open and froze. He wasn't there. My blood turned to ice. I couldn't breathe. And then I felt it. Someone was behind me, heavy, still, watching. I couldn't turn around. I didn't need to. I knew who it was. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder and I screamed. I got grabbed by both arms. I couldn't move. "Wake up, dumbass!" someone yelled. I opened my eyes like I'd been hit. It was the officer shaking me like crazy. "What the hell is wrong with you?" he yelled. "They've been banging on the door for an hour. They're here to pick up the body." I was drenched in sweat, laughing, crying, both. My body didn't know if I was relieved or just broken. I got up, legs shaking, head spinning, looked around. It felt way too real. The wind, the cigarette smoke, the leaves under my boots, even the cold from the night air. I walked to the door, opened it with a weird, frozen smile on my face. They were waiting. I led them to the morgue. Every step was like retracing a nightmare. At the door, I hesitated, my hand on the handle, shaking again. What if he's not there? What if that dream wasn't just a dream? I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was still watching me. That hand on my shoulder. I opened the door, and there he was. Just like I left him. Laid out, covered with the sheet. They took him. No one said a word. My shift ended not long after. I could have gone home, crashed in bed, tried to forget it all. But I didn't. I walked straight to the recruitment office. "I'd like to request a discharge," I said, like I was asking for a ticket out of hell. I signed the papers, turned in my uniform, never looked back. That was the last time I ever wore it. And even now, years later, there are still nights when I wake up in a cold sweat, feeling that same hand on my shoulder all over again.